Ryan, and I got a bit of a different video for you all today. This being a countdown video. I know, original. Joking aside, this year for games is gonna be kind of an insane one. With 2 brand new consoles on the way from both PlayStation and Xbox, a multitude of brand new DLC for games like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Mortal Kombat 11, and of course a slew of brand new games of all kinds. But, of course, there's a few games that I'm just a tiny bit more interested in than others. So, in today's video, I'd like to count down the top 5 games I've been looking forward to the most throughout 2020. A few things first though. One thing, these are in no particular order. 2, even though certain games might not make the list, it doesn't mean that I'm not excited for them in any way, just they didn't make the list. The last thing is, I'd like to get a few honorable mentions out of the way. First up being Resident Evil 3 Remake. While I'm not as big of a fan of RE3 as I am RE2 and RE4 or the original Resident Evil, I'm still excited for the remake nonetheless. Resident Evil 2 Remake was one of my favorite games from last year, and it makes me stoked to see what they could do in RE3 to maybe fix some of the problems they had in the original. Plus, Nemesis. Dear God, Nemesis. Cyberpunk 2077. I will say that while I was slightly disappointed in the lack of gameplay at Xbox's conference last year, excluding Keanu Reeves, I'm still pretty excited for Cyberpunk as a whole. The setting in the world looks really goddamn awesome right now, and it makes me hope to see what they could do for the future when the game fully releases. The Avengers from Square and Crystal Dynamics. I like the Avengers. That's it. Alright, the honorable mentions are out of the way, so let's get going. Let's mosey. Persona 5 Royal. If this really wasn't obvious enough from the content that I make, Persona 5 is one of my favorite games of all time. So when Persona 5 Royal was eventually announced, I was pretty excited. However, I'm gonna openly say this right now, out of all the games on this list, I am excited for Persona 5 Royal the least. This comes down to a few things, though I won't spoil a bunch here if it comes down to story. One being the price point. I do personally find $60, at least currently, to be a bit steep. Though I am willing to hold this criticism until I fully play the game because my thoughts could change on this. Next up being some of the characters. I did personally view the story in Japanese and I got translations, and after thinking about it for a while without spoilers, I do find the main selling point of the game, being Kasumi, to be a bit meh. Though I do want to make a full video on this eventually if my thoughts don't change. Again, without any spoilers, I was also disappointed by Jose just due to his story and the overall conclusion to his character. Okay, I think I'm getting a little too negative here, so let's get into why I'm still really excited for Royal, even with the faults that I personally have with it. Unsurprisingly, the gameplay. While I do love Persona 5's gameplay, I always thought certain things could be better. Some better parts of certain places, looking at you, Okumura, some new hangout spots, and of course just the core improvements to the battle system, it gets me excited. For example, Showtime attacks. These are just cool, and I'm in love with these at the moment. But of course, things like Akechi's confidant being manual also gets me excited, as well as the new Kichijoji hangout spot. Being able to hang out with all the thieves, play darts, play pool, that stuff gets me really excited. But also, new events story-wise, like the trash cleanup day and the 3rd semester. There's a lot of cool things here. Small things like this gameplay-wise could really make Persona 5 Royal be an amazing improvement to an already incredible game. Plus, there's also My Palace, which from what we've seen looks like a ton of fun. Oh, and obviously the music. Because of the music. But of course, Persona 5 Royal isn't even a couple months away now, and I'm excited to play it. So, number 5 is Persona 5 Royal. Number 4, The Last of Us Part 2. Well, this is a jump in depression, isn't it? Now, it is true, I haven't really talked about this game much on the channel, like at all, but I'll only say this. The Last of Us is one of my favorite games from Naughty Dog personally. The characters, the story, the great voice work, and the fun gameplay, so much of The Last of Us is just something that I love. I replayed it on multiple occasions, and I still love it each and every time. Of course, after the game's release and the very much so cliffhanger ending, everyone had the same question. When's the sequel? Well, that answer wouldn't come to us until 3 years later, at PSX 2016, where we got our first ever trailer for the game confirming the return of Ellie and Joel, a time jump, and the name, Last of Us Part 2. Of course, it did take a little while for us to get the full gameplay, but for E3 2018, they delivered, showing a bit more of the story, gameplay, and how much it improved upon the formula the first game had. Over the coming months, and I mean many months of waiting, we got some more finalized looks at the gameplay. Really, it just looks like more of the first game, but improved upon and starring one of my favorite parts of the first game, Ellie. The Last of Us Part 2 looks amazing so far, and I can't wait for the game's release. May 29, 2020? Let's hope they can pull off an amazing sequel. Number 3, Persona 5 Scramble, The Phantom Strikers. Now, I've talked about this game in a previous video of mine where I just sort of gushed about Persona 5 Scramble, so this one's going to be a bit short since I don't really want to be a bit repetitious. First off, P5S being a direct sequel is all I wanted from another P5 game. Royal is nice, but a full-on sequel with the same characters, and brand new areas to explore, I'm all for it. I'm so happy that a sequel is actually happening. But that's not all. Weirdly enough, and I say this because this was the part I was least interested in, the gameplay. When Scramble was first teased as a new Warriors title, I honestly got a bit disappointed. However, as time went on and more of it was being shown off, I grew even more interested over time. After finally sitting down and playing the demo when it released, my opinion changed dramatically, in a great way. Out of the two, I still personally am more excited for Persona 5 Scramble than I am Royal, even with a disappointing lack of confidence and such, which I will admit is a negative I have. The gameplay is already great, much more action-adventure than it is a Warriors title, and the story is all I wanted. I'm gonna hope they can pull it off, and I'm excited as hell to see more, and also whenever the game releases here in the West. Now, these next two were actually pretty tough for me to decide on, but number 2, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. This right here is a dream come true. If you aren't aware, Xenoblade Chronicles is my favorite game of all time. I first played it in 2014, and since then, a Xenoblade Chronicles HD is everything I wanted from Monolith Soft. The gameplay, the story, the characters, the environments, the worlds, the music, God, the music! Now, I get to not just play it on the go on one of my new favorite systems, but now with even better visuals. Even then, I can't even imagine how beautiful some areas like Nighttime Valak Mountain, Aerith Sea, Nighttime Tutorial Marsh, and so many more are gonna look. They already look breathtaking on the Wii, the damn Wii, and I just can't imagine that it's gonna be actually a thing now. Perfectly honest here, call me a pansy all you want, I cried at Xenoblade DE's announcement. It's a game I've been dying for so long now. I've been wanting this for so long now. We got Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Xenoblade Chronicles X, and I love those games, but this is all I wanted, and the fact that it's actually happening, it really is a dream come true. Now if only we can get some damn info on it. Yeah, it is actually kind of upsetting we've just gotten nothing on the game for months now. Come on, Monolith, I'll take anything at this point. Dunban, Sharla, I'll even take Juju, just something, anything. But, hey, I can't complain. This is a dream come true for me, and I can't wait to see what Monolith has to offer and how they make this incredible game even more incredible. Yeah, okay, number 1 is obvious. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Who could have seen this coming, am I right? But, honestly, Final Fantasy VII Remake being only a few months away at the time of this recording is insane to me. If you told me a year ago that I would be playing this game in only a few short months, I honestly wouldn't have believed you. But of course, let's go back here. E3 2015, that original reveal trailer. That night was something else. Final Fantasy VII Remake was confirmed at the PlayStation press conference, and people were just a tiny bit excited. Flash forward to the PSX 2015 showing, and Final Fantasy VII Remake was the first to get a trailer. I was extremely excited, even with, in my personal opinion, Cloud and Barrett and the visuals in general looking a little bit off, but it was still exciting. And then, nothing for close to 4 years. Aside from one picture in 2017, there was literally nothing on the remake. And then, at the State of Play for May 2019, it happened. We get another trailer, a reveal of more coming in June at E3, and a tease of much more from Twitter. Remake was back, and it was looking better than ever. After that, it was trailer after trailer, a release date, tons of gameplay demonstrations, a delay, but aside from that, Remake was actually back, and it was coming very soon. So many of us, including myself, were ecstatic. Yeah, true, the game did get delayed by a month, but that's fine in my book. Take some extra time to polish the game a little bit. I don't care. As long as I can look at the game and say that it's finally here and still is a PS4 title, I'm happy. That's everything. So, with all that said, how about you guys? What are your most hoped for games throughout this year, and are you interested in any of the games that I mentioned on this list? Comment below and let me know. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a great night. Signing off. Peace out, soldiers.